Have you ever questioned what really happens behind the doors of nursing residences? We often hear of the care and help they provide. But what many individuals don't comprehend is that there's another aspect of the narrative, one that rarely gets commented about. Whereas some facilities give great care, others are afflicted by hidden concerns that can affect the health, safety, and well-being of residents. And the worst part, family don't always find out about the status issues till it's too late. In this video, we're uncovering the 6 dark sides of nursing homes that everyone should know, from chronic understaffing and hidden fees to maltreatment and medical neglect. These are the difficulties that may transform what should be a place of caring into a source of sorrow. By the end of this movie, you'll have the expertise to detect red flags, ask the proper questions, and guarantee that you or your loved ones don't become victims of these concealed risks. Linger with me until the end, since one of the greatest ignored concerns is something that affects practically every resident, but almost no one talks about it until it's too late. You don't want to miss it. Let's get begun. Number 1. Understaffing leads to overlook one of the largest and most alarming difficulties in nursing homes is chronic understaffing. Many facilities just don't have enough caretakers to appropriately attend to all the residents, and when staff workers are stretched beyond, then it's the residents that suffer the most. What does this look like in reality? Skipped meals, delayed meds, soon answered call buttons, and elders left sitting in mud clothes for hours. It's not because caretakers don't care. It's because there aren't enough hands to do the work. And as a result, the very people who need aid the most often don't get when they need it. When nursing home personnel are overloaded, even basic necessities, residents may not be moved in their mattresses regularly enough, leading to unpleasant bed sores. Those who need aid with eating may not obtain the aid they require, leading in starvation or dehydration, and in some situations, crucial drugs aren't supplied on time or at all, leading to major health issues. This lack of attention might induce a rapid decrease in health, and for many, either happening so gradually that families don't comprehend what's going on until it's too late. Consider the case of Walter, an 82-year-old guy whose family placed him in what they assumed was a highly regarded facility. At first, things appeared good, but over time, his daughter saw something was odd. Every time she visited, he seemed more fragile, bewildered. It wasn't until she started asking questions that she discovered the truth. His meds had been skipped many times since the staff was too worried. He had lost weight because no one was ensuring he ate, and worst above all, he had gotten excruciating sores from sitting in the same position for too long. His family trusted the facility take care for him, but due to understaffing, was left to deteriorate. This situation isn't simply frustrating, that's dangerous. Studies have demonstrated that nursing homes with low worker-to-resident ratios have increased risks of falls infections and hospitalizations. Without enough caregivers, inhabitants don't get regular check-ins, which indicates that medical emergencies can go overlooked for long too lengthy, and for seniors, every minute matters. What can you do if you or a loved one is pondering a nursing home? Staffing levels should be one of the first things you examine. Ask how many caregivers are offered per resident, both throughout the day and overnight. Visit at different times and notice how immediately call buttons are responded. If workers look rushed, overworked, or incapable to provide immediate aid, that's a huge red flag, because when a facility is understaffed, neglect isn't just feasible, it's inevitable. And the truth, this neglect isn't the only worry number. Too poor hygiene and unsanitary conditions when you think about a nursing home. You expect a tidy and well-maintained environment after all. These facilities are responsible for the health and safety of vulnerable locals, yet the reality is that many nursing homes struggle to maintain appropriate hygiene, and the repercussions can be terrible dirty floors, unwashed linens, unpleasant odors, and even infestations of pests. These are only some of the challenges that families realize too late, especially for elders with weaker immune systems. Bad sanitation isn't just unpleasant, it's hazardous. Diseases develop swiftly in filthy environments. Residents who are left in dirty clothing or unaltered diapers are at high risk for urinary tract infections and painful skin disorders. Shared equipment such as wheelchairs or medical devices can harbor microorganisms when not adequately sanitized, and anything as simple as a caregiver forgetting to wash their hands can lead to breakouts, though conditions like pneumonia or gastrointestinal infections in extreme instances, unclean conditions have led to widespread illness, outbursts, hospitalizations, and even preventable deaths. Consider the case of Elana, a 79-year-old woman who entered a care home for short-term rehabilitation after a fall. Her family visited regularly and noticed a strong odor in the hallways, but staff assured them it was nothing to worry about. Within a few weeks, Eleanor suffered a severe respiratory illness. The reason: dirty ventilation systems that had gone unabated for years. By the time the issue was discovered, many residents had grown unwell, and Eleanor had to be hospitalized. What her family thought was a safe setting had in fact exposed her to unnecessary health hazards. The indications of poor hygiene aren't always apparent at first. A facility may look presentable on a scheduled tour, but what happens behind the scenes might be a different scenario. If you or a loved one is considering a nursing home, pay attention to tiny elements. Are the floors and bathrooms clean? Do the hallways smell fresh, or is there a lingering odor of? Rarely are residents well-groomed with clean clothes and brushed hair. Well-maintained facility will have stringent cleaning practices and enough staff to enforce them. Hygiene isn't merely about comfort. It's about health and dignity. Residents ought to live in an environment that fosters their well-being, not one that puts people at risk, but as alarming as unsanitary circumstances can be. The next concern on our list is even more alarming. It's something that happens way too often behind closed doors, and yet many families never find out until it's too late. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, pause remark number 2 below to allow me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you, subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue generating useful content to inform and inspire you. Now let's wish. Let's move forward. Number 3. Emotive and physical abuse. One of the most terrible facts of nursing homes is that some inhabitants experience mental and even physical mistreatment at the hands of the very individuals entrusted with their care. It's something family wants to imagine, yet reports of verbal insults, carelessness, and outright abuse continue to appear year after year. And because many seniors have cognitive deficits or difficulties speaking up, these events often go undetected for much too long. Emotional maltreatment can be subtle, yet very detrimental. It involves staff, personnel, ignoring residents, speaking to them harshly, or making them feel like a burden in vision, being fully dependent on someone for your daily needs, simply only to be treated with impatience, frustration, or even cruelty over time. This kind of treatment leads to sadness, anxiety, and a strong sense of loneliness. Some residents stop eating, others withdraw, losing interest in activities they once enjoyed. and in extreme circumstances they simply give up on life. But emotional maltreatment isn't the sole concern. Physical abuse is more common than most. People realize some caregivers, overwhelmed by stress or frustration, lash out at residents. Others take advantage of the elders who are unable to defend themselves with unnecessary force when handling them or even leaving them in bed for hours as punishment. And then there's the matter of resident-on-resident aggression, with limited supervision. Disagreements can grow into violent altercations, and vulnerable elderly may end up injured without anyone stepping in to defend them. Take the example of Harold, an 81-year-old guy who moved into a nursing home. Following his mobility deteriorated, his family noticed marks on his arms. But when they asked regarding them, staff brushed it aside. As Asmal fall over time, Harold became withdrawn and afraid. It wasn't until a visiting relative overheard a staff member speaks to him in a humiliating tone that the truth came to light. He had been forcefully treated by caregivers who saw him as an annoyance, rather than a person deserving of dignity and respect. His family had trusted the hospital to care for him, but instead he had been live in terror. So how can you protect only self or a loved one? The key is vigilance. If a resident unexpectedly comes, withdrawn, scared, or refuses to talk about their experiences, that could be a danger indication. Frequent, inexplicable, bruising bed sores or abrupt weight loss should never be overlooked. And most importantly, visit at unexpected moments. Mistreatment often happens when workers believe no one is watching. By showing up regularly and offering direct questions, you give a strong statement that your loved one is not alone. No one deserves to feel terrified in a place that is intended to give care, and yet abuse remains one of the worst realities of the nursing home system. But as scary as this is, the next topic we're about to examine is something that can cause just as much hurt, only this time the damage isn't just bodily or emotional, it's financial, and it's a problem more families are finding the hard way. Number 4. Hidden fees and financing exploitation. Many families believe that once they choose a nursing home and agree on a payment plan, they know exactly what to expect. But what they don't realize is that hidden fees, false contracts, and even outright financial exploitation are more common than they realize. For some, the cost of care begins off manageable, only to skyrocket over time with inexplicable charges. Others find too late that their loved ones' personal cash are being drained through deceptive practices, leaving them with nothing when they need it most. One of the most common financial traps comes in the form of ambiguous or misleading contracts. Families routinely sign agreements that appear clear, at first only to be hit with extra charges for more attention that should have been include simple functions like assisting a resident get dressed, escorting them to meals, or supporting them with mobility might be specified as separate fees, adding hundreds or even thousands of dollars to the bill each month. In some cases, families only realize what happens after they've been billed for months of services they never even agreed to. Yet that's not the only concern. Several nursing homes have been found taking advantage of residents immediately, especially those with cognitive limitations who may not fully comprehend their financial condition. Unethical facilities have been known to trick seniors into signing over management of their bank accounts, pensions, or even property. In the worst circumstances, staff members have been found forging signatures, manipulating financial documents, or pushing inhabitants into making financial decisions that leave them vulnerable and broke. Consider the situation of Barbara, an 84-year-old woman who had been living in a nursing home for 2 years. Her family had carefully budgeted for her care, making sure she had enough income to cover her expenses. But one day her daughter realized that Barbara's savings account had been almost entirely spent. Confused, she requested financial records and found that Barbara had been billed for services she never got, physical treatment sessions she never attended, prescription refills she didn't need, and a long list of unexplained administrative costs. When she addressed the nursing home, they stated it was all authentic, but after additional inquiry, it was evident that Barbara had been systematically overcharged for months. So how can you protect yourself or a loved one from financial exploitation first? Always seek a comprehensive analysis of charges and analyze them carefully. If a charge seems extremely high, don't be hesitant to ask questions. Second, avoid signing any documents without thoroughly understanding them. If a contract contains ambiguous words like additional services may apply, inquire for clarification in writing. And third, if a resident has cognitive deficits, make sure a trustworthy family member or legal guardian is monitoring their funds closely to prevent unlawful withdrawals or unexpected changes. Financial exploitation is one of the biggest, harsh facts of nursing homes because it doesn't simply take money. It takes away security, independence, and peace of mind. And as upsetting as this is, the next topic we're about to discuss is just as serious. It's something that could mean the difference between life and death, and still far too many nurses' houses fail to handle it appropriately. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights beneficial, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps continue generating useful content to inform and inspire you. So let's move. Advance number 5. Limited medical oversight. Many nursing homes advertise themselves as places where residents obtain proper medical supervision. But the reality is often quite different from what families expect, and in too many elderly experience long delays in receiving medical treatment are administered unneeded drugs to keep them drugged or have their health concerns disregarded until it's too late. When an institution lacks proper medical oversight, even mild health conditions can escalate into life-threatening emergencies. One of the main problems is the lack of on-site medical pros, whereas some high-quality nursing homes have doctors or skilled nurses freely available, others only having part-time medical staff who visit occasionally, leaving residents without necessary care when they need it most. If a resident suddenly falls ill or experiences significant pain, they might have to wait hours or even days before receiving medical attention. And for elderly with chronic diseases like diabetes, heart disease, or dementia, this delay might be detrimental. Another big concern is the overuse of drugs, notably sedatives in antico-medicines. Some nursing facilities resort to medicating residents as a method to control behavior rather than addressing their actual demands. Instead of offering individualized care, professionals may offer residents powerful medicines to keep them quiet and docile even when it's not medically required. This practice, sometimes referred to as chemical constraint, can lead to serious adverse effects, including confusion, falls, and a drastically lower quality of life. Take the instance of Gerald, a 77-year-old man who has always been mentally acute before moving into a nursing facility. Within months, his family saw a big change. He seemed groggy, confused, and bewildered, struggling to hold discussions he once enjoyed. Concerned, his daughter checked his medical records and was shocked to find that he had been prescribed heavy sedatives, drugs he had never needed before. When she encountered the staff, she learnt that the medication were provided to help manage his restlessness rather than treat any actual medical condition he had suffered, over-medicated not for his benefit, but for the convenience of the facility. If you or a loved one is in a care facility, it's crucial to ask key questions about medical oversight. Is there a doctor on staff, and how often do they visit? How are drugs prescribed? And who decides when adjustments are needed? If a resident becomes sick, how quickly can they obtain medical attention? These questions can disclose a lot about the amount of care a facility genuinely provides. Medical oversight isn't only about handling existing situations, it's about making sure residents receive the care they deserve before trivial difficulties become life-threatening emergencies. And while this issue is immensely serious, the final problem on our list is one that many individuals overlook. It's something it affects nearly every resident, yet rarely talk about it until the damage has already been done. Number 6. Residents suffer from loneliness and depression. One of the most neglected concerns in nursing homes isn't medical neglect or financial exploitation. It's the emotional toll of loneliness and isolation. Many elders enter a nursing home anticipating a sense of camaraderie, but instead they find themselves spending many hours alone with little to no meaningful engagement. Throughout time, this loneliness transforms into depression, hurting both their mental and physical health. The hardest part, many families don't even realize it's happening till their loved one has already withdrawn. For elderly, social relationships are just as crucial as medical care. Studies demonstrated that loneliness in older adults raises the chance of dementia, impairs the immune system, and even shortens lifespan. Although in many nursing houses, occupants spend most of their time sitting in their rooms, staring at the walls, or watching television alone, staff are generally too busy to engage in meaningful interactions and structured activities, if they exist at all. Insufficiently attended or uninteresting, the outcome a strong sense of isolation from the world, leading many seniors to losing interest in life itself. Consider the case of Helen, an 80-year-old woman who moved into a nursing facility following her spouse's husband passed. Gone at first, she attempted to keep cheerful, hoping to make pals and keep herself busy. But as time passed, she found that workers were continually hurrying from one duty to another, while the other residents seldom spoke to each other. The social events were repetitious, uninspiring, and lacking real engagement. Soon Helen quit trying. Ate alone, spent most of her day in silence, and when her family visited, they saw the light in her eyes had dulled. She wasn't sick, but she was suffering. The worst aspect is that many nursing houses fail to notice the emotional needs of their residents. They focus on giving food, medications, and basic care, but overlook the human need for companionship. And for elders who no longer have family visiting often, the isolation may be heartbreaking. So how can this be stopped? If your loved one is in a nursing home, make social engagement a priority. Inquire about organized activities, group outings, and opportunity for residents to form real friendships. If your loved one is already in a facility, promote regular phone calls, video talks, and visits from friends and family. Even something as easy as hiring a partner for a few hours a week can make a world of difference. Loneliness is a silent struggle, but it doesn't have to be inevitable. Nursing homes should be places of care and connection, not isolation and sadness. And now that we've covered these 6 dark sides, let's take a minute to reflect on what we've learned and what efforts might be made to make better choices for ourselves and our dear ones. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, PLs, comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue generating good content to inform and encourage you. Now let's move onward. Final thoughts, Shorty. On Ray Hunson, we've identified 6 harsh realities of nursing homes, difficulties that too many families only realize after it's too late, from understaffing and unsanitary circumstances to financial exploitation and emotional neglect. These are problems that can significantly damage the lives of elders who deserve considerably better. The truth is, while some nursing homes give good treatment, many have serious vulnerabilities that can put inhabitants at risk, and as loved ones, it's up to us to ask the proper questions, pay close attention, and advocate for those who may not be able to speak up for themselves. If you or a family member is considering a nursing home, don't just trust the brochures or the amenities, promises, visit in person, talk to staff. Notice how residents are treated and read reviews from other families, inquire about medical oversight, staff-to-resident ratios, and daily engagement opportunities. And most importantly, never assume that just because a facility seems clean and professional on the exterior, it's delivering the care that seniors truly need. Nursing homes should be a place of dignity, care, and respect, not a place when people are forgotten. If today's video has made you think twice about what truly happens behind closed doors, then it's already done its job. Awareness is the first step to developing better decisions for yourself and your loved ones. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Post a remark below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your thoughts are essential to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your remarks gives us enormous motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your contribution helps us continue making good material to inform and encourage you. Thanks for viewing, and we look forward to seeing you in the future video.